Hello there, scientist. This is your video about mixtures and solutions. You're going to be taking some guided notes that you're going to be gluing into your science journal today once you're getting done with these. And so make sure you have a pencil ready to go, and make sure you get one of the packets that has the notes that you'll need. And if you don't quite get done today, that should be fine. We will probably have a little bit of time later this week during some normally what would be a walk to learn time or a block time, but we're going to be doing some different things because of rehearsals for the Veterans Day thing. All right, so mixtures and solutions. So in your notes, we need to know that matter can change, and when matter changes its appearance, it is called a physical change. A physical change when it changes its appearance. So some types of physical changes. In the change in state of matter, we might see a candle that is melting. It's still going to be wax, but it will no longer have the same shape when it's done. Boiling water, the same thing. In this case, the water will no longer be a liquid. It becomes a gas or a vapor. And then we have another thing over here that's kind of showing us that it is no longer just a liquid. It is now kind of partially liquid and partially solid. Another type of physical change that we might see is a change in size. So we have here an apple that has been cut down. It's still an apple, but it's no longer the same size. Same thing here with this piece of paper. It's still a piece of paper, but if we just take this little chunk, it's no longer the same whole piece of paper, but it is still paper. And the broken window here, this has changed its mass in that it has removed it, and it's also changed the shape of that particular part of the window. So these are all physical changes. Another physical change that we might have is a change in color. So we can take a crayon and melt it back down to the wax and then add a different color and change it from one to another. Now let's talk about mixtures. And we've already talked a little bit about this, but a mixture is a combination of two or more substances. And in this case, we have a picture of a mixture of coins. We have some pennies and nickels and some quarters and some dimes. They're all coins, but they are different types of coins, and they are even made of different things. Now moving to solutions, a mixture can also become a solution, and a mixture in which one substance dissolves into another is a solution. When one substance dissolves into another is a solution. And when something dissolves, it gets smaller and smaller until it can no longer be seen. So if we took some sugar and we stirred it around and around and around in a pitcher of water, pretty soon it would no longer be able to be seen, but you could still taste the property of the sugar once it's in the water. So that makes it a solution. Sometimes when we want to separate a mixture, you can use a couple of different tools. You could use evaporation, you could use magnets, you could use funnels and filters to separate out the mixtures. When we're talking about evaporation, evaporation can separate water and salt, water and sugar, and you could even probably do it if you're going to have like some muddy water. If you left it out long enough, eventually the water would all evaporate and leave behind the dirt. Magnets can separate things like iron filings from pepper. It can separate aluminum cans from a mixture of other things, and also from iron cans, excuse me. So if we put a magnet up, it would suck up the iron can away from the aluminum cans. You could also do this with nails if you happen to spill a bunch of nails and you wanted to make sure that you only picked up the iron ones and put them into the right container. Another way to separate a mixture is through a funnel and with filters. And funnels can separate larger things like sand and medium rocks. If you had marbles, large marbles and small marbles, you could use it for that. Filters, though, can separate things out that's a little bit smaller, like you could take water and dump in some sand, and it would separate the sand away from the water. So kind of a reflection question is, how could you separate a mixture of salt, sand, and water? So think about that for a little bit, and you're going to finish up your notes. And when you're done for today, you need to make sure that you turn your science journal back into the correct bin for your class. Make sure your name is on the front of it. We've had some missing journals again, and there really shouldn't be any reason for that at this point in the year. All right, at this time, you may end your video.